Hello, good morning. It's me. I just donated a plasma, hence the bandage. I just got a coffee, and now I'm going to go to the Remnant warehouse to get some fabric. Tomorrow night we're going out for my friend's birthday, and the theme is green because she's born on St. Patrick's Day. And so of course I need to make something. I have some fabric that I got from there a little while ago, and it's kind of see-through, so I need something to wear underneath it. And they sent me a voucher not that long ago, so I figure that I should just go there and get the extra stuff that I'm going to use for this project. I think I'm going to make Gracie Steele's Roving Romper pattern, and this is going to be like a little bit of a pattern review as well as just like a fun little project. So let's get in the car and go to the place. Holy moly, it's hot today. I'm not gonna film while I drive because I know that there are some people that get concerned about me filming while driving, so I'll just meet you when we park, alright? See you there. Okay, I have arrived in the car space. Now, did I remember to actually pack the little bit of fabric that I cut off this morning so I could get the right colours? I don't think that I did. I literally cut a little swatch to bring. Oh yes, I got it. Here it is. This is the fabric that I'm going to make a dress out of. I've had it for like probably a year. It's also from the Remnant warehouse here in Sydney. It's got green on it, so it counts. It fits the brief, it fits the dress code, but it's quite see-through, so I'm going to make something to wear underneath. And also make this because I haven't made this into the dress that I want to make it into yet. So let's go to the shop and we will find something. I think I want something brown. Hello, it's Sniffly Steph here. I've got a bit of a cold, please forgive my voice. So I looked at a couple of options. I couldn't decide if I wanted to go light or dark behind the green dress, and then I found this one hiding in the back, and it was this beautiful sort of ochre colour, and that's what I got. Got my bits. Okay, today's the day. It's going to be a bit of a Project Runway style mad dash to the finish because it's my friend's birthday shindig tonight. It's currently almost midday. I have to leave here probably about 5, I think, to make it out for dinner before we go out on a boat. I have 2 projects to make in the space of that time. One of them is going to be Gracie Steele's Roving Romper, and I'm going to try and do like a little bit of a pattern review as I go, and the other one is going to be a completely self-drafted little dress that's based on a picture that I saw on Instagram that I screenshotted like last year sometime. Yesterday I went and I got all the bits I need. I got this matte spandex yesterday from the Remnant warehouse. Also, I got a lot of it. I'm realizing now that I probably bought too much of that. That's fine, because I think that if I have too much, then I can just make a little top anyway. And I printed off the pattern pieces that I needed for Gracie Steele's Roving Romper. The first step is going to be to put this pattern together. What I saw recently on the internet is using your sewing machine to basically stitch the pages together, which I think is going to be way quicker than cutting and gluing or taping or anything. So that's what I'm going to do. First step though, make a coffee, and I'll meet you back here and I'm going to stitch these pages together for the pattern. Before you all lose your minds about this, just please know that I did change my needle from a decent one to an old one that I had stashed away because I'm afraid of throwing anything away. And then I just went ahead and I stitched these things together. The paper was a bit thick and a bit tricky,
and then I had to flatten the seams, I guess, of all of these bits as I went, which made it a little tricky, and I actually did a couple of bits around the wrong way, so then I had to unpick some stuff and redo some stuff. I feel like this method was very efficient, and for me it was nice just to get out one sort of implement rather than needing to glue stick bits or put bits of tape or cut too many things. It was really nice just to sort of efficiently put all these bits together. It's a little bit tricky because you can't exactly line up where the triangles and guidelines are, but I liked this method.
That was pretty efficient considering the putting together of a PDF pattern is probably the most annoying thing you'll ever suffer. I realized that at my office we have a large format printer, which I could have used, but I decided to just use the recycled paper because I felt bad about using company resources. If anyone from work is watching this, please don't report me to the boss. Thanks. So I know for a fact that Gracie and I are very similar sizes. I think she's a little slimmer and a little more proportional. I have a longer torso, but I really can't be bothered to lengthen or shorten this at the moment because yeah, I just don't want to deal with that, with tracing more stuff. So I'm just going to check my high point shoulder to crotch, which I think is a good indicator of whether it's going to be too short for me in the body and if I really need to lengthen it. So let's just double check that. So yeah, it looks like I have to increase this length by a good couple of inches. Okay, one thing I love about Gracie's instructions is that she does really nice diagrams. The thing that I really dislike is that the sizing, the fabric, the notions are all in different spots. It would be great to be able to double check the sizing and know how much fabric you need for that size on the same page. That's my you know, my bit of feedback about this pattern. You're kind of scrolling through the PDF a little bit. So I'm like a C to an E. So let's grade that, and I'm also going to add some stuff. So let's just see. I'm going to cut the pattern pieces, the lengthen and shorten lines, and I'm going to I guess I'm gonna have to tape them or stick them onto these bits of scrap paper that I have, because I'm gonna need to add some length because she's got a long torso. So let me just find all of them. Let me do these bits first. So I'm just gonna cut these lengthen and shorten parts. And I'm gonna add a bit. How much are we gonna add? I'm gonna add, say, like 4 inches seems a lot. That's crazy. I don't need that much. That's crazy.
I've said it once, I'll say it again. It was a crazy amount to add to this bodice, but I did in fact add 4 inches. I used some scraps that I had from my offcuts from the rest of the pattern, and I added 4 inches because I used the measurements that were given in the pattern from the high point shoulder to the crotch measurement. My recommendation for this pattern and other patterns is that if you have the opportunity to print multiple sizes using the layers function in whatever PDF reader you're using, then I highly recommend to do that, because what it enables you to do is grade more easily once you've printed the thing out and put it together. Here I'm grading from a smaller size at the bust to a wider size at the hip, because that's just sort of the differences in my measurements. And I will say that that is something that I do like about PDF patterns. You kind of feel a little less paralyzed by cutting into the thing, because you can always reprint it again and cut it out and put it together again if you want to. So once I had all my pieces, I cut them all out and gather them all together. I'm trying to use a little bit of a tidier workspace, so I've been trying to tidy my table as I go. I hope that you are proud of me.
Okay, cutting out all these pieces took like a little bit more than an hour. Now I have to cut out the fabric and sew the whole thing together. So like I'm a little bit stressed that I'm not going to be able to get all of this done. I think though that the plans have changed slightly for tonight, so I might not have to head out until a little bit later, which is great because that buys me a smidge more time to get this done. And the lighting is going really bad in here, so I'm going to set up my light and then I'm going to cut out the fabric. I've got all my pieces cut out. Now I have to stitch it all together. It is 10 to 2 p.m. I think I'm going to leave a little later because, you know, plans got cancelled. So that buys me probably another hour or so. I'm hoping that I can put this together in probably an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and then that leaves me like an hour and a half to do the dress. So let's get cracking. I think I need to get the overlocker out because yeah, it's recommended to use an overlocker for this pattern. So let's do that. I would usually set up my overlocker closer to the window where there's a little bit more light, but I'm setting it up here so that I have view of the clock so that I can keep track of the time as I go, because this is a time crunch and I need to like channel my best Tim Gunn, make it work scenario. So yes, please have your thoughts with me as I try and figure this out. I guess if you see this video, I managed to do it. If I don't do it, then I might just publish this video anyway. Who knows? Like at this point, I am as unaware of the outcome as you, so let's just see if we can get there together.
Oh my god.
The other bit of feedback about Gracie's patterns, I love them, I think they're great, and she does a really good job of her instructions and stuff, but I don't know if she's done this deliberately. It's a bit of feedback I've given previously when I've done some pattern testing for her, and that is that she gives like the right side and wrong side of the fabric, the opposite colors to what is in a conventional pattern. So I always have to catch myself when I'm pinning stuff together and double check that I've actually got the correct sides of the fabric together, because sometimes I'm just a bit stuck. I don't want to speak too soon, but this is coming together surprisingly quickly. Foreshadowing? Who knows? Let's see. Let's see how much that clock ticks down as I go. Yikes. This is mildly stressful, but I'm having a very good time. I'm sorry if you're feeling stressed about this, but look, you're just watching this video. I'm actually living this video. So this is the elastic that I got yesterday. Recommended to use 6mm elastic, so that's exactly what I got. I just bought a random amount because I didn't know how much I would need. It would be good to have like an indication of kind of how much elastic you might need for this process, because in case you had some kind of hanging out in your stash, you wouldn't need to buy more. But I don't know, man. Maybe I haven't done thick enough seams, wide enough seams. Anyway, let's check the instructions. I think I'm gonna do 2 pieces. I think I'm gonna do just one for the back and one for the front separately. I have this black elastic, which is from the days of making masks. Remember when we all made masks? I feel like this is a little gentler as well. This braided elastic is really hefty. So I'm gonna use this black stuff for this process because I feel like the spandex already has a lot of, like it's got good, I guess you call it return. So I am going to use this black stuff because it's just like a little less hectic. This is a bit fiddly, this process, but I'm hoping that it has good outcomes. Wait, use these clips. I don't love using clips. Are you guys clip people or pin people? I'm more of a pin person. I like pins better. It's 2:30, going well. I don't think this is going to take too much longer to finish, which is very, very, very cool. I'm very pleased about that. This elastic is going to be on the inside of the garment, so I'm not worried about what color thread I'm using. I just have still this black thread and a red bobbin from earlier, so I'm just going to continue using that until it runs out. Yeah, that's just a little update on that. And I've said it once and I'll say it again, that if you're doing something where it's going to be involving stopping and starting, set your machine so that the needle lands in the down position so that you don't lose the fabric sliding around the place if you need to lift the foot and turn a corner, or you need to stop and take a pin out or something.
I would like to think of myself as quite an experienced sewer, but the putting in of this elastic was probably the most complicated part. I really did not enjoy this. I need to develop a better method of doing this because I hated this a lot.
Sliding all around the place. I don't like this at all. I hate this. I hate this.
Not sure what made it so difficult. Maybe the type of elastic I was using, or maybe I had too much pull on it. I don't know. It was just uncomfortable.
I hate this. Okay, it is 25 to 3. Time check. That's great. I've done the elastic bits. I really... Who am I? Where am I? It's a nice colour. Okay, what's next? I feel like this is going to be the complicated bit. It may or may not surprise you, but I have never done the burrito method for anything. So we're going to learn together. Let's figure this out. I'm hoping that the instructions are straightforward. Use the burrito method. Lay your garment right sides out with the front to the left and the back to the right. Okay. Oh! You should now be able to wrap. Okay, you roll. Okay, open that out. You open that out. And you roll this up on the side. That's so cool! Man, that's sick! Cool! Wow! Oh dude, that's so cool! That's amazing! That's so cool! Wow! That's so cool! How many times can I say that? Wow, that's so cool! It is genuinely very cool though. That's so cool. You know when you feel intimidated by something because you've never done it before, and then you try it and you realize that it's not as hard as you thought? That is exactly what just happened here. That makes so much sense, and Gracie's instructions for how to do it are very, very, very good. Thanks, Gracie.
When I was done burritoing both sides, I can't remember what I did exactly. I think I must have, I don't know. It's been a while since I made this thing. This voiceover is coming very late in the piece. Oh, maybe I'm adding more elastic. I think I added more elastic into the different parts. I honestly don't remember. I'm sorry.
It's a moment of truth. I don't know if this fits. I'm going to turn it the right way out and try it on for the first time, and then we'll see about hemming it. Oh, jeez. She's firm. She's firm. Haha! Oh my god, how fun! Oh my god! This is genuinely like the most fun thing I've ever made in my life. Oh my god, how fun! I'm really glad that I lengthened it in the torso because I'm not at risk of like having some gross moment in the crotch, which is amazing. And it feels really firm. I would say that it's definitely a tight fit. Up here, I kind of regret not making this low scoop back version. I think that would be a little bit easier for me to get on, but right now, this is really cool. It is not even 3:30, so success. That leaves me about 2.5 hours to make a dress. I'll give you a full tour of this later, but right now I'm going to eat a snack and then I'm going to make a dress.
Smashing. Smashing.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and that is hot cross bun season. We're coming into Easter, and I absolutely fucking love hot cross buns. So here I am showing you the inspiration image, which was a screenshot of a dress that I saw Alyssa in the city wearing one day on Instagram about a year ago, and I managed to find the dress, and I'm not sure if I can remember who it was by or what it was, but it's basically quite a sheer dress, and it's got these sort of pleated ruched side bits. So I did a little sketch to come up with a concept for how I was going to put this thing together.
It's just so nice. Okay, what I'm going to try and do is make this dress. My neighbours upstairs are being really noisy, which is a pain in the butt. Okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to try and make this dress. I'm going to use... I don't know what they do, but every single weekend, it's like they're hammering something. I don't know what's going on. Look at the fabric I have. It's a one-way stretch, so it stretches from selvage to selvage. Ooh. Like that. I'm going to use this pattern. I'm going to use the bodice section and basically just make shit up. So let's just cut this out.
I decided to go with something very simple, which was just going to be a kind of maxi length dress, very up and down, straightforward. I used this other pink dress that I have as a bit of a guideline. I decided I was too tired to figure out how to get pleats or anything to happen, and that I was just going to ruche the sides using elastic. And again, to keep things extra super duper simple, I actually cut out the front and the back piece at the same time. I decided that I wasn't going to put a centre back seam in the back, and there was no need to cut anything on the fold. I just literally cut the pieces flat. I used the pattern piece to get a bit of a wider arm side because this pink dress has a very narrow arm side. It's kind of almost like a racer back style.
I may at some point in the future line this, whatever this dress is going to be, with a double layer of this green stuff. But right now I am pretty spent. I think I'm just going to do the quickest, crudest, nastiest job on this dress because I kind of want it to be done. I'm sure you will be able to appreciate that.
Brain's starting to bleed.
I tidied up the front neckline just to bring it a little bit lower than the back neckline and making sure that my shoulder seams were going to match.
Alright, this is going to be the most basic construction ever. I'm going to do the shoulder seams, then the side seams, put in some elastic, and then finish off the hems.
So that's exactly what I went and did. I threw this thing together. It took absolutely no time at all before it was time to try on. I really liked the length, and so I decided to mark out where I was going to put the bits of elastic in the sides to give the ruching effect. I could have done pleats and stuff, but I really couldn't. My brain just couldn't at that point. So the same sort of process with the romper, I just threw some of this same elastic in the side seams to bring it up to the length that I wanted it to be. And it worked pretty well.
Okay, we're looking good. Camera is about to run out of battery, so I'll just show you that I put in that elastic down that one side. I'm going to do it the same on the other side. And then I'm just going to turn in the neckline and arm size a little bit. I bought some Maraflex thread, which is a stretch thread in a kind of matching color. Probably not that matching, but I think it's like a grey color. So I'm just going to finish off with those bits and then head out after I've done all this. But yeah, camera is about to run out of juice, so I don't have another battery. So yeah, that's where I'm up to. I'll show you guys what I get up to by the time I leave, I suppose. I'm almost done with this dress, but I just discovered something terrible. The bottom has this big ladder in it now. I think it's from trying it on, so now I'm gonna have to cut off that much. It's like 8 inches before I hem it. This fabric is terrible. Oof, I can see now why it was like dead stock clearance. Everything must go because it's pretty rubbish. Anyway, whatever. I think a pair of scissors can't fix. Look, it's pretty much done now.
Time is up.
It's a shame that that ladder happened on the bottom. Oh well, I guess it's just gonna have to be a shorter dress. That's okay. I feel like this has turned out pretty well. It's taken me about 2 hours to make, from the very first sketch to cutting out to stitching to trying to find a way to watch the footy. But yeah, it's pretty much done. I'm gonna have a shower, do my hair, do my makeup, and I'll see you when I'm ready.
Time is up. Time is up.
Heading out to the place. I managed to finish both things. I had to lop a bit off the dress because of that ladder in the hem, which was a bit of a bummer, but it means I can actually walk in it, so that's good. So I did Tim Gunn proud and we made it to the end. I finished all the things and I wore it to the party that night, very happy with myself. The party was pretty fun. It was fun being on a boat, but I am way too old to stay out that late. So I hope my friend appreciated the effort that I went to for that. Anyway, let's get to the review of the Roving Romper pattern by Gracie Steele. I'm going to do like a full recap now. So this pattern is the Roving Romper by Gracie Steele, who is an Australian indie pattern designer, and it's recommended for intermediate level sewists. And I totally agree with that. I feel like if you're just a beginner, it would be a little bit too challenging. I use the PDF printable format in the A4 size that I literally stitched together to make my pattern pieces, but it also comes in an A0 large format printer size, which is great, and it also comes in a projector version. I know that Gracie exclusively pretty much uses a projector herself, so it's great that she includes that in the files. The fabric that I used is from the Remnant warehouse, and it is called the Bondi matte spandex, and it's in the color Desert. First things first, I was a little scared to get started with this pattern because I haven't made that many stretchy things before, and I haven't made much swimwear ever, and I haven't made that much activewear, so I felt a little bit out of my depth. I am glad though that I had a reason to go and make it. Well, I had two reasons actually. The first one was that it was my friend's party, and the second one was that the Remnant warehouse sent me a little store credit, which was nice of them to do. Thank you so much. And there was absolutely no obligation to make any sort of video or content about it. So I'm doing this because I want to share this pattern with you. The pattern files itself comes with layers that you can turn off and on depending on which size you want to print out or work from. And I love this feature because I tend to be a little small up top and I have more around the hips, which is really helpful because then you can just straight up grade between sizes. You can just print the ones that you think you need and work from there. The putting together of a bunch of paper before even cutting the pieces out, let alone the fabric, is always such a big obstacle for me to using indie patterns, and I think I'm going to look into getting a projector because I think that that will just remove that obstacle for me. Once I had everything ready to go, the putting together of this thing was actually quite efficient. I also think this is where the intermediate level sewing skills come in handy. Just having the confidence to go and put stuff together straight on the overlocker without sewing seams first, and then also attaching elastic within those seam allowances was, yeah, I guess like it all comes down to confidence, and you only get more confidence if you do more sewing. I also love that the pattern is sewing directly with an overlocker because that just makes it even more efficient. I did do one line of stitching around the crotch because my overlocker thread is not quite a color match to the fabric, so where the seams are kind of stretching and pulling apart, you can see the stitching in between. I don't really mind because it's not like this is some sort of fancy garment or anything. Gracie's instructions for the burrito method on how to put the bodice and the bodice lining together are so clear that I am actually just really annoyed at myself for not picking up this pattern sooner and learning how to do this method. It was so simple. And while those instructions are really good, and I did mention this earlier in the video, and it's feedback that I've given to Gracie generally about her patterns when I did some pattern testing for her for the Hour of Power pants, which I'm currently wearing, and I think the pattern is coming out really soon. In her instructions in the PDF, I don't love that the sizing, the yardage, the notions, and all of that is kind of like in different parts of the PDF. I find myself scrolling up and down a lot. That's just me. I don't do well with taking in lots of text information. I'm a visual person, so the more tables and diagrams I can have would be great. That, and also the guide for the right side and wrong side of the fabric is also completely opposite to all the other patterns I use, which are generally like conventional patterns. So just keep that in mind if you are going to make this pattern. And finally, something really minor, and maybe she's updated the instructions since I got this version, and that is that it would be great to have an idea of how much elastic you might need to put in the, what am I saying? To put in the neckline and the arm size, just so you could be a little bit more prepared than I was. And for reference, this is how much I calculated. I'll put it over here by the lamp. I regret adding so much to the bodice length as I did. I added 4 inches. I think I probably could have added 2 or 3. The reason I added so much though is because the high point shoulder to crotch measurement was given, but there wasn't a guide about where to measure those 2 points from. If you are using that measurement to see if you need to increase the bodice, know that it goes to the front, not up under there. Too graphic? I don't know, I don't care. Honestly, I don't know how much wear I'm gonna get out of this garment. That being said, I have been wearing it around the house and it's super duper comfortable, and I had a fun time wearing it out to the boat party underneath the other dress that I made. It is super comfortable, and if I happen upon some really nice spandex, maybe I'll make another one or fulfill my desire to own a morph suit. We'll see what happens. It's either that or next summer I'll finally make some swimwear, which I've been telling myself I'm gonna do for too long. At the end of the day though, I realized that with a time frame I can
Carry on.
and make it work.
I'm ecstatic.